What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. We're gonna unbox this comic soon, and this is a big book. Probably the I want to say it feels like the biggest book we've added to the collection. Um, I mean, if we're talking about like 100 years from now, like when we look back on like really key books, comic books, this will be, I'm sure, among, and we'll get into the reasons why it will endure. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just gotta wait before we really get into it. I have to invite Roger. Roger will be joining us in about 30 minutes. He got the books from that we sent him. Essentially, you know, he's going to be cleaning and pressing my books. We did a whole video on it a couple of videos ago. He's always, so we check in, maybe once every quarter, maybe, every season. Um, and we talk about what books we're going to clean and press, like he offers to kind of handle books every season, and I'm definitely amassing quite a queue or a wait list of things. And obviously, he can't press everything. I mean, I'm gonna have to look into getting into pressing and cleaning myself. I'm just worried that's gonna send me down a whole other rabbit hole, if you know what I mean. Hey, Kenneth, what's up? Kenneth's in the house. He's here to see the big book. Um, so a little background, just a quick, like if you're watching me for the first time on YouTube, you're just joining the channel. I normally don't say, hit like and subscribe, but I feel like, you know, if more people enjoy this kind of content and you get it out to more people, I guess that's ultimately a good thing. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Um, I'm pretty much putting out content whenever there's something to report this summer, and we've been doing a lot of comic book hunting and haul videos and unboxing videos because I have a separate side gig, a weekend gig, where all the money I earn from that gig is going directly to comics. And so, so far we've spent a good, I want to say, $1,200 on comic books. So we're probably going to spend another 1,200 before I slow it down and save the rest for Emerald City Comic Con, which is next year. So, um, I have so with that money, I've kind of focused on picking up a checklist of books, and on this checklist was sort of this gray area. We wanted to pick up a Superman Golden Age book, and we had put on the list, something like I put Superman 32, which is a Wayne Boring cover. It's a low grade is 300. I also put on my list Superman 53 Golden Age book. This was also a Wayne Boring cover, and low grade on that is about $500. So we had kind of those two books, but really ultimately we wanted to pick up any decently, valued Golden Age book that had some significance. And really, every Golden Age book, every Superman book in the Golden Age book is significant, um, just because it's that era and it's Superman, right? So, um, yeah, I think I had my work cut out for me. But ultimately, where my heart settled was on this book, We looked around for deals. I've gone into channels I've never gone into. I've actually gone into these forums where comic book, really just like these massive sort of comic book wholesalers or retailers um, sell their collections, and they have quite an extensive range. But I oftentimes find it's kind of like eBay, where you don't really know what you're getting. The photos aren't that great. The descriptions aren't that great. They price things out. They do have a grade there. They price things out, but again, the photos aren't great. So it lacks in some of those areas. But every website is different. Some sellers have really good transparency. Others, there aren't photos. This one luckily had a photo, so I was able to look at the photos. I was able to kind of do research before I made an offer. The guy counter offered. I accepted, and the book is here now. So we're going to get to opening it. And then when Roger joins, we'll go over the books that I sent him. He's going to go over the books that I sent him, and we'll just touch base on his plans to, clean and press my comic books. All right, so I gotta say the packaging on this is really nice. As to be expected, this guy seems to deal in a lot of high-end comic books. So I would imagine, that in terms of packaging, they know what they're doing. I'm hoping it comes in a top loader, but I know top loaders add weight to the thing. So okay, it's not in a top loader. It's actually in a loose bag and board, it looks like, which is fine. But oh my goodness, is it a beauty? It is a beauty. And it looks to be the grade as advertised. Okay, you guys ready? You guys, let me get this tape off here first. And I have ordered I've ordered 50 more Mylar bags and clear backing boards. I love the presentation of it. And I realized, what, while we have money, I better just make my collection really pop and present well. I just want it, kept in the best materials and having it present the best. So we ordered 50 more, this time Golden Age Mylar bags. Ha ha ha. And we're going to put Silver Age books in there in the bags, because I feel like the more room they have, it's just, you got the clear backing board in there, Golden Age 2. So I feel like it's tight enough where it's not going to move around, but it's also going to be, you don't have to be touching right up on the spine. You have a little room. So it's going to protect it better in the long run, just to have it in a little bit of a bigger bag. But let's show off what we picked up. And this is, whew, it's in rough shape, but it presents beautifully. Superboy 10. Superboy number 10, Golden Age book. And this one is, they say it's in a G plus, a good plus, which is about 2.5, structurally intact, water damage, staple, rust. These are things, there's things Roger can definitely help make better. But it's the first appearance of Lana Lang. That's the real key here. The first appearance of Lana Lang, and that's why we got this book. And it's such, it's such a well presenting, beautiful book. I kind of want to put it in a top loader, but I don't think it'll fit in a top loader. So I'm really waiting for that, the Golden Age backing boards and things to arrive, so I can get this where it needs to be protected and Oh man, it's a beautiful book. Um, Again, it presents really well. I'll get in close so you can see. Um, the cover's it's still stapled. The cover's on, but the spine is really worn. The staples are rusty. The spine is just, it's pretty much shot. This was probably well read, but then just over the years, it's just, sitting in a long box, all the weathering that goes on for 50 years. That's what you're going to see in this book. Well, we're going to keep you in a well lit, dry, sort of, cool area and not have you last forever. Oh my goodness, this is just a beautiful book. I just don't want to touch it because the paper quality is very brittle. So I'm just going to leave it here, kind of sandwiched between cardboard for now. And what we'll do is we will. What's up, Roger? Yeah, I got a big book. I got a first appearance of Lana Lang, Superboy 10, and again, it looks beautiful. I paid $225 for this book, and I think I got a steal. To be honest, I think I got a steal. Um, because I mean that book, $225 for a Golden Age, even though it's low grade, a Golden Age first appearance, Lana Lang. I mean, I first of all, let me just tell you, there's of all the people Superman has loved in his life. Okay, Lois, Wonder Woman, and Lana, his first love. Um, Lana is by far my favorite character, and not necessarily from the comics, although the comics were pretty cool. If you recall the plot of Superman 3, Christopher Reeves, Lana Lang is very central. Uh, she's introduced in his origin story as as his crush, secret crush, and he never gets in the movie. He never gets anywhere with Lana, but of course, in the comic books, Lana Lang is like just a very is like his first girlfriend, right? And she's always trying to like out Clark, to find out he's Superman. And yeah, she's always been sort of like a character. But I really fell in love with the character of Lana Lang when um, the CW Smallville series launched, and I'm just going to kind of share with you. Um, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much we're gonna be a little stalkery. We're gonna be a little creepy here and go to her Instagram page. So this is Miss Kristen Crook. She played Lana Lang on Smallville, and I'm telling you, Smallville, uh, those first couple of seasons where will they, won't they? It's like Clark and Lana. Season two, man, season two started out with a bang. They're in love, they're dating, and then everything goes awry, and we're left with this. We want them back together, but there's these forces or these things, and that keeps on dragging on and on. And I really hate the way the writers killed off Lana Lang. They kind of really went sort of haywire with her character and turn her into this like sort of evil, sort of character, and then she dies in this freak accident, and she's like, anyway, they got weird with how they ended that story arc. But anyway, Kristen Crick left the series, but she's a very big part of this. You know, she's a very big part of the Comic-Con community. She's always, there. I'm really hoping to get a chance. She lives in Vancouver too, so she's not that far away from me. Um, but she's so beautiful. Like I can't. I mean, that's what made you watch the show, right? You wanted to watch Kristen Crook as Lana Long every week. That's why you tuned in. That's why I tuned in personally. I really loved the again, the Lana Lang, Superman, Clark Kent, first love. I really love how they did it. It was a great, it was a great modern take on Superman. Very entertaining. That show, week to week, it was a good comic book show. You had a good mix of like, sort of reoccurring characters. Lex Luthor always in the background. Um, Supergirl joins in at some point. They introduce a lot of really core Superman characters, and a lot of the Justice League, and Flash, and um, Green Arrow. All those series spun off because of the success of this series. So I really hope, I had really hoped they would somehow would have wrapped up Lana Lang's. I'm talking about the TV series now. I really would hope they would have wrapped up, kind of put a nice bow tie on, like, we're never going to be together. Let's just accept this. I really want you to have a good life, be happy, but we're going to go our separate ways. And Clark, I really wish they kind of had put Erica Durant's not in Smallville, but more of where Clark did a departure and then Erica Durant. But they had introduced Erica Durant's like early on as sort of like weird love triangle. Clark's in love with Lana, but then he starts to develop feelings for Lois. So I mean, it was good. The overall series is good, and I just love the show too much to be critical. But again, I just wish they would have wrapped up the Lana Lang story arc a little cleaner. It got just weird, and yeah, I didn't like the way it ended. All right, so Roger's in the house. Let's get him on here.
Hey, hey.
What's going on, Roger?
How you doing, my friend?
It's good.
I was,
It's good. Whoops.
I was watching your show while I was taking care of a few little issues.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to try to make you big.
Oh,
Whoops.
please don't. I'm big enough already. I mean, yeah, great find there. First Lana. Yeah, very nice. Very nice Golden Age. Is that your first Golden Age?
It's my second.
Second. All right. Nice. Let me tell you, it can be addictive, so you have to be careful.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're right. I do want to kind of pick up more, but it's a big challenge.
It is, yes. Especially Golden Age, like you said, if it's brittle and the ragged spine, you got to be very careful working on that when you're conserving it, because ragged spines and brittle is a bad combination.
Yeah. Well, I know you were kind of like watching in the background. I'm gonna just show the book again. I want to get your thoughts
Sure.
on the grade. Yeah. So they have this at a 2.5 G plus, good plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll try my best to kind of like, let's do it this way. Kind of show the book here.
Yeah, it looks a little like a little water damage there, right? little water staining. Is that what that is on the top?
Yeah, on the top, it's just a little worn. I don't know if it's,
Okay.
yeah, it's just worn, but
And
it is
it's
it
got
is
some
faded.
sweaty staples there.
Yeah, it's got rusty staples.
Okay.
The spine is pretty worn and ragged, but overall, again, they say it's structurally intact.
Okay.
Cover's not detached. There aren't any like tears or anything
Right.
big. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd say it's about a good then, based on what you were saying. I don't know the difference between a good and a good plus, but if it's complete, if the staples are on the cover and through the book, then it's at least a good.
cool.
Brittle pages, I don't know if that's really a grading thing, but that's something you have to be careful of, because I'll show you in one of the comics you showed me. I noticed when I opened it a little bit of brittleness. But yeah, I think that's a good good comic you got there.
Yeah. Okay. I have to. I'm trying to make you big and me small. So let me see.
Many have tried.
There we go.
There we
All
go.
right.
All right. Let me see if I can. Can I do this way so I can show it to you on here? Let me see. I'm looking on my phone to see the angle here.
That looks good.
That looks good right there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start with this first one, which is all the comics you sent me are, well, like maybe not the X-Men, are pretty interesting because they all have some defects which are challenging.
Okay.
All right. So the Green Lantern here is it's about as warped if I've ever seen a comic. Very, very. I mean, literally, there are ridges here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the colors are spectacular.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course there's some water staining. Did you notice there's a little date stamp up here?
Oh yeah. Okay. Will that smear under the water?
That's a May something date stamp. Right.
Love the date stamps.
Yeah, that's nice. I hope that stays with the soaking, but we'll see. And of course it's totally off the staples.
Yep.
Right. Totally off. You can see water staining here.
Yep.
So this is a great candidate for a soaking.
Yeah.
A great candidate.
Great.
Silver Age covers are a little thicker. I don't know if you've noticed this. A little thicker.
Okay.
So their integrity is good. So in other words, when you soak them, the paper gets very weak. But Silver Agers hold together real well. So I think this is a really good candidate for that. The staple holes are the paper is there. It's just bent in, right? Because somebody forced this out through it, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to lay that. I'm going to press that flat to see if that will stay there.
Wow.
But there's no way I can stick a staple in there and keep it. So I'm going to move the staple half of it down here and this one up here.
Cool.
So you'll have the holes there, but it won't be as pronounced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think the cover is good. I think that will work out pretty well. Now the interior of the comic is also very warped.
Yeah.
And there's a little staining here, but I'm not going to do anything about that.
Okay.
Because the pulp paper, if you think the cover gets weak, this almost disintegrates, right?
Yeah.
But with the press, I'm going to have to press it probably 4 times.
Okay.
Press this by itself on this side, this by itself on this side, then with the cover this side, and with the cover that side.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you notice the roller marks in here?
No.
Look at this. Look at this right there.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah.
That's a print roller mark, and
Wow.
it has several of those. I don't think that's going to come off with any of the techniques that I have.
That's fine.
I will try to see it with just a little bit of see right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will try to see if I can lessen it a little bit, but I don't want to put any kind of solution on there at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's about probably 4 or 6 of these. But again, it's interior. So
yeah, it's interior. I don't think you have to focus so much on.
Right.
I just want it. Yeah. If we could just press it, get it so that warped texture is out of the
right.
book.
And also the first wrap is also loose off the staple.
Okay.
So you see that there?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to. So that's no big deal because I'm gonna move the staple up anyway.
Yeah.
This one down, this one here.
Yep.
So that won't be a big problem.
Cool.
All right. But yeah, this book has been it's been quite mishandled.
Okay.
Put it that way. But I really like the color. I really like the colors on this. It looks to me like whatever happened to this comic happened after that. This was stored very well.
Yeah.
So I think that this will be improved quite a bit. You're not
Brian,
even going to recognize. Yeah.
I think in terms of before after.
Yeah.
And Roger, can you be sure to document some photos? I forgot to take photos.
Yes. Yeah, I take photos of everything I work on. No worries.
Perfect.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so I'm writing notes on here. Let me put myself up here for a sec. I'm writing notes on here.
Okay.
All right, and just soak cover. That's obviously. Then reposition staples. The staples are not rusty as far as I can tell, so that's okay. I don't have to replace the staples. I'll just put here lesson streak, but I know that's not a big deal for you, but I'll see what I can do. Right. To me, this is fun, so it's not like work to me, So. And what else? And 4 presses. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that there's any problems here. I feel very comfortable working on this one. I don't think there's going to be any problems with that.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the results on that one.
Yeah, I am too, because that is a great candidate for a soaking, really great candidate. All right, let's go down here again. Is that good there?
Yes.
Okay. So here we have Batman 244. Fabulous Neil Adams cover, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fabulous. Okay, once again, we have something that the top staple is, hanging on for dear life here, and this is split here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what that means is that I'm going to have to clamp it when I'm working on this so that this doesn't come apart anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The cover is a good amount of creasing here and down here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the spine is also worn. And it's also got a little curl here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking this was stored with something in front here. In other words, so that it put pressure here, but not up here.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a good candidate for a double press right there.
Okay.
It's not incredibly dirty, but I can definitely feel something on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give this a good clean cotton makeup pad, first of all. Absorbing a cloth that I have. It's a static cloth.
Mm-hmm.
That I've been using. And then I have also my erasers. Okay. But no wet cleaning for this.
Yeah.
It's not going to benefit from that
Sure.
much. Back cover is pretty dingy.
Yeah.
But not terrible.
Yeah.
I've seen much worse. There's a, as you see here, there's a big crack right there.
Yeah, crack.
And there's a split there.
Yeah.
So the challenge with this one is that I have to be careful when I'm working on it that I don't split it anymore here or here, because otherwise this staple is going to go. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else did I want to tell you? Okay. So do you want to do anything about the split here?
No. Just, I think this one is a good clean and press is all we're going to look for.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I looked through the interior. I didn't see anything, anything amiss. There's some bent corners, and there's a split right here. I don't know if you noticed that right there.
Okay.
Right there. See that?
Yeah.
Looks like it was a crease, and that it kept bending, and then anyway. But again, when I humidify it, that will become pliable. I'll straighten all those dog ears.
Nice.
I'll give it a quick press on this side, and then I'll give it a longer press on this side.
Okay.
Okay. Because I don't want. I'm afraid of that. Of these splits, right? So I don't want to put too much heat on there too long. Just in case, right? It's not brittle, not at all. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I'll do. And if I need to, then I will give it another press on this side. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But really nice comic here you got.
Yeah.
All right. So let me put it back in here. Oh, and I did got the stamps that you sent as well, by the way.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So this is basic clean, clamps, and probably 2 to 3 presses. Short press on cover. Okay. All right. These are more notes for me, but while we're talking, it's it's good to do it. All right, so let's go to the last one is the biggie, which it's the most challenging. But let's go to this one here.
This is the most challenging.
No, not this one.
Oh yeah, the last
Spider-Man.
one. Okay.
Yeah. No, Silvestri cover.
Yeah.
Is this the first Mr. Sinister cover?
This is his second appearance and his first cover appearance.
Right. I have the 221, so I know that was his first, but I didn't have this one. Okay. So the cover's a little wonky. It's like the staple is fine, but it's not square. It's almost like it pushed over a little bit.
Gotcha.
So I may have to remove that staple and wrap the cover down a little bit and then replace that staple. But that's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I got another stacking curl. This one is more pronounced. Right there, right along there. So that's a great candidate for a press. This corner has got a lot of creasing, but I don't think that's color breaking. There is a spot there, though.
Yeah.
There's another crease over here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. There's a crease right there, kind of wiggly crease. It looks like something scraped against this.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of little divots here.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Those are all pressable, though?
I'm not sure about those. Those are pretty deep. But I'll try.
Okay.
I might have to give it... I don't feel it on this side. Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be touchy. We'll see. We'll see. Back cover is, again, a little wonky. The way that the cover is set, it's almost like the front cover overlaps here and here for some reason. And I don't know if it's because that staple is loose or what, right? But looky here.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed this when I opened it. I was like, that you have to be careful with this because that staple is only held on by that piece of paper at the weakest point right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to clamp that when I'm working on it. Yeah. That's not going to be good.
That's probably causing some of that wonkiness too.
Correct. That's exactly what I was going to say. Look where this staple is above that black line there, right?
Yeah.
And look at this one. There's no black line here.
Yeah.
So when this cover was put on, it was put on a little bit, a little bit cockeyed.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody tried to straighten it out, and that's what happened right there. Yeah. So again, a little bit of a challenge, but I think that we can get it very presentable.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, Silvestri did a good job on this cover, by the way. I'm not usually a Silvestri fan, but that's a pretty good conceptualized cover there with the Goblin Queen and Havoc here, and then you got the allegorical Sinister up there. Very nice. Okay. Sorry, I analyze comics a lot. Habit of mine. I drive people nuts sometimes with my in-depth reviews of things. All right, so okay, be careful. I'm going to write myself this note. Be careful. Back staple, back cover staple. Tears. But otherwise, it's not dirty at all, but I'm going to give it a basic clean and probably 2 to 3 presses. Okay. And it does have some ticks on the spine there. I'll see what I can do with those. They're not very pronounced.
Okay.
So a press may diminish them a bit. No guarantees, but possibilities. All right. All right. Let's go to the big one here. Here's
all right. Yeah, here's my baby.
Here's your baby. but there are definitely issues here. Well, first thing you'll notice, staple is rusted there.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked in the interior and it migrated to the paper.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is that you have this big, deep rip right below the staple here.
Right.
See that? That's crunched and ripped.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do not want to remove this cover. It's up to you, but
no. I agree with that assessment.
But and there's another reason why. Now there is a little bit of a roll. You can see here, the overlap, right? Okay. There's a little bit of a roll, so I'm going to wet this, and I'm going to try to coax that roll out a little bit. But this here worries me, so I'm gonna coax it just like an eighth of an inch at a time. All right, because I don't want that to split. Okay, that's the first problem. It's pretty dirty. Okay, and then you have the water damage or water stain, not really damaged, all along the top edge here. And the outer part here, pretty pronounced here. Right there is really pronounced on the cover. So, so I'm not going to give this a soak because I'm not going to take the cover off, but I'm going to give it an overhang soak.
Yeah.
So this part of the cover will be in the water. The rest of it will not.
Yeah.
And I just want to get rid of this so the cover will look better.
Yeah.
It will not remove this from the interior cover, but the presentability will be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That staining or the water stain is really only on that yellow part, right? It's not really beyond that.
There's a little bit up here. Okay, but when I soak it, I'm going to soak it right on this line where the curtain is.
Yeah.
So because you can't see it on that, there is a little bit on the blue, but I mean, you have to like get a magnifying glass to see it,
Okay.
right? So
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's some more issues here though. There is brittleness on the top and bottom edge, and as you notice how it's like browning there, and notice how that is a rip right there, a tear. Yeah, because somebody when they opened it a little roughly at some point, and that became to rip because it's brittle. It's all the way through the comic almost. Okay? So the bottom of the comic is split there. The whole comic, the split right there. Okay, and there's little chips out on the bottom of these.
Yeah.
If you'll notice those little corners there, I'm being very gentle here. Those little corners, there's little chips out of it. Right. So this is actually pretty challenging because not the cleaning part per se, but to align the spine and to be sure that you don't bake this too much, because if this gets dried out more, this will start chipping more.
Right.
So this is a comic that I would suggest you not open that much.
I won't. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm even thinking of sending these to CGC because I know they're going to get low grades, and but I feel like, they just would look better graded and in a slab, I think, overall. So
okay, well that's up to you, of course. I'm not going to do anything that would give you a purple label.
Yeah.
So because I'm not going to add any paste, or I'm not going to try to repair that bottom area.
Yeah. This one's really just cleaning and hopefully a little bit of a press.
No, yeah, it's going to it definitely needs a press. The challenge will be to press it. You can't. I'm going to lower the heat of the press. I'm going to lower the heat, lower the time. Hopefully that will allow this to not dry out. Because as I'm feeling this, I can feel that it's just a little bit brittle there. Not up here. This is just the water here, not that brittle. But however this was stored, the top and the bottom was exposed somehow. So maybe it was like in it like this, like standing up or like that,
Yeah.
I don't know, but. And that rusty staple, it is what it is, though, my friend. I mean, it is what it is. When you bought it, I know you knew all this. So this is a challenge. This is a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
But I like challenges. So, I'm. Okay. So any other thing that you want to add to this?
No, I mean, I think you have it looks like you've taken notes and you have you kind of have a thought process for each book.
Yeah. I have a plan of attack for each one. And if I change my thinking, let me come up here so I can see you. So it's not rude. If I change my strategy or my way of thinking, I'll let you know, of course, before I do anything.
Yeah.
But for this one, let's see. It's very dirty, so this probably going to need a pretty deep cleaning.
That one, with erasers and the cleaning materials, the ball that you use.
Yeah.
That one, I mean, I'm going to let you kind of manage that, but I don't want to do anything that would add more stress to that worn cover.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm fine with just like a simple kind of wipe down, and then the
Well,
water.
the the I think it just feels like there's some kind of layer of something on here. But it could be just years of dust or something. I'm not sure, but it just feels odd to me. The back cover is not a problem. It's mostly white, so the eraser should do fine on that. There's a couple of, I didn't even notice that before, but there's a couple of scrapes back here. Let me show you here. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there and there. A couple scrapes.
That's fine.
But that's
it's not that noticeable, right?
No, it's not that noticeable, exactly. The page is asking you to confirm that you want to leave. No, stay on page. No, don't want to leave yet. Okay, so all right, let me keep writing my notes here while we're at it. So deep cleaning, water spray on MJ. I'll put MJ here just so we know it's that part of the cover. Let's see, light temp press. It's a Silver Age comic, so they're a little hardier, but okay. Yeah. Probably it's going to need 2 presses, I would say, on this one. I don't want to overpress it because of that brittleness. I want to,
yeah,
just want to.
I'm fine with it to actually, like after the first press, maybe kind of redampening it and then and just letting it air dry. That works too.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the low temperature press, right? I'm going to leave it in the press, but off. And because what happens if you take it out of the press and you let it air dry, it's going to just rewarp. So you have to leave it under a lot of pressure. But it's not going to be all that much temperature, so I don't think it's going to affect the brittleness. Okay.
Cool.
I will experiment with another comic I have first to be sure, which is even more. If you think this is brittle, that thing is toast, right? But I think it should be okay.
Okay.
All right. I've done similar things before, so I'm like 95% sure it'll be fine. I'm a little worried about that crunch there. Hopefully that won't be a problem. When I add humidity to it, I'm going to try to curve that around a bit. So that what I'm talking about is this right here. If you press it like that, it's going to crunch that down further. See that? So I want to wrap that around it, around the spine, so that there's not a hanging part there. I don't know if you can tell right there. See that there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to wrap that down a bit on it. So when I put it in the press, I have to make sure that that it's wrapped. Okay. Because now I'm seeing this, Otaku. This corner here was under some kind of immense pressure because it is flattened right there. That's why it has that rip there. Oh,
yeah.
That's why it has that rip there.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. It's like somebody put like a meat hammer right there. It's crunched, totally crunched there. I mean, just hate to see that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, you can even see the outline.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay, but it's going to look a lot better in Taku. Okay, don't worry about that.
cool.
It's going to look a lot better. There's the good thing is you got good color. Now that we talked about the bad things, let's talk about the good things, right? You got good color. The staples are on very nicely, no problems there. Yeah, it feels solid. It's not like the water damage weakened the paper. Okay.
You think like doing all the work and seeing its potential right now, because of that structural damage, would you say what would be the max grade you think even with all the improvement, what's the max grade we could get on something like that?
Well,
grading wise.
With that split down there, I don't think you're going to get much more than a 2.5.
Okay, 2.5 then is like kind of like the best we can get. Okay.
Because of that split down there. If it wasn't for that, because I think the grading standards say if it's more than an inch split, that I think that's the highest grade. Again, I'm trying to remember because I'm not really a grading guy per se, but but it's gonna present better than that.
Right.
It's gonna present like a VG all day long.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna present like a VG, I'd say.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know because I think if it's a 2.5 is actually not bad for that era of a book to have in a slab, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like 2.5 would be a pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, for the first MJ cover, Romita,
All right, we'll. I am planning to send at least one of these in.
Okay.
Based on now looking at the in terms of the Mr. Sinister, the Mark Silvestri book, the X-Men, that one with the staple damage, that one's not going to be sent in. But I am thinking of the Neil Adams book and the Romita Senior book. Those two books I am like wanting
this one?
That one.
Okay.
And the Romita Senior book. Those two I am really considering to send in.
Right.
Now, after you worked on them.
Right. This one, probably the technical grade would be like a probably similar 2.0 to a 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you have two splits on this one. You got on the bottom and the top. So probably more like a 2 on this one. But it's going to present better than the Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't have that crunch down here. You just have a lot of wear, a lot of ticks here, a lot of creasing, but nothing major,
Yeah.
So that's going to present very well, but probably technical grade 2, This one, it's going to be restapled, so forget it. It's.
Yeah, I'm not going to send that one in, but that one's going to look amazing, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You put this one a nice top loader or something. Beautiful,
Awesome.
Beautiful. And that is great Adams work right there. That is just fabulous Adams work.
It is.
And that light yellow in the back just pops with the green,
Yep.
So, great stuff there. Yeah, I hope that date stamp stays because I that is a great little.
Oh yeah,
that's a great little perk, Yeah. So great stuff. Basic clean. See, so cover. Yeah. Okay. I got my notes. I got the comics. Tomorrow, this is going in the bath, and 2 of these are going into the press. Then that one is going into a press. So I'm just trying to give you a timeline here. So that one's going into a soak. So that means that's all day plus the drying, plus the air drying, then the pressing. So that's a 1 day just for the Green Lantern. Okay. The Batman and the X-Men, that looks like clean. A little repositioning here for that cover, that X-Men cover. I'm going to check the staple. Same thing with the Batman, a clean and a couple of short presses. So that's another day and a half for those 2. The Spider-Man, probably another day or just for the Spider-Man too, day and a half. So we're talking about 4 to 5 days here of work.
Again, take your time, no rush. Send them when they're ready. Don't rush yourself. Don't rush the process. I know how patient you are.
I don't rush. Whatever time it takes, that's the time it's going to take. If I have to repress them, I'll repress them. If I have to re-clean them, re-soak them, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Right now, I'm just going to forget about them, and then when I hear from you, that's when it'll trigger
you'll forget that. Hopefully nothing happens. I'll just have that out of my mind here.
So Joe's asking if you are going to do a pressing video.
So many people have done those already, though. I mean, if I guess if you want to, Joe, I'll do one.
I don't
know how interesting it's going to be, but.
Yeah, I think more interesting would be like what you've been showing me, the distilled water cleaning.
Right.
Showing that process, because I know you're showing me the photos. You're also showing me how you hang the comics and how you kind of soak them and all that. But that would be kind of, I know you'd have to set up a camera and all that maybe, but I mean, I'm just saying not to do it, but to consider it, because that would be something interesting. I think a lot of people would.
Well, I guess what I could do is do I can do my setup, and then when I put it into the bath, or aqueous bath, I guess, and then you can see, what I have I have these 2 sheets of unwoven. It's like Ramée, right? But it's not exactly Ramée, but it does the same thing. It's permeable. And then what happens is that the cover will stick to it with water. I mean, stick, it's actually at just pressure, right? Just the
adhesion.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And that way you can move it, and then I'll take it, I'll turn it around, I put more water in. Thing is that it's a slow process. It's not like, it's not like instantaneous. It takes hours and hours for. So I might take short, little bites of it and show you the when I turn it, when I clean the water out.
Yeah.
When I put it in the actual unwoven fabric. I don't know how interesting it'll be, because I think Jerry does that a lot better, but I could do that. Sure. I'm not going to do it this time. Not with your stuff. Hey, Jackson. I'll have to go back to the beginning.
You missed it.
We just showed the comics and what we're going to do to it. I'm not going to do it with your comic, because I want to concentrate. I'll just get some comic there that doesn't mean much or anything. I don't want to
distractions.
Be worried about the video.
Yeah, no distractions.
Exactly right. Because it does take a level of concentration when you're moving it and everything. You have to make sure that it doesn't slip out, and So, okay. So, what else was I going to tell you? Oh, geez, my memory. What was I going to tell you? I'm sure it'll come back to me eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll start tomorrow morning. I have to mow in the afternoon, so I have to work at noontime. So in the morning I have time. So I'll start with the Green Arrow. I'm going to take pictures. That's what I was going to tell you. I'll take pictures.
Yeah.
You want me to put it on Instagram or just keep it?
It's up to you.
Okay.
I think that would be great. Just say, hey, I'm starting on these comics, and then I can kind of look at the before and try to download as many of them as I can.
All right, so I'll take pictures tomorrow morning, and then I will do the soaking. And once I have it complete, I'll take the after picture, put it on Instagram. I'll send you the thing first, and then I'll put it on Instagram so that everybody can see the before and after.
Okay? Nice.
Yeah. So, as teachers would say, show your work. Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you, Jackson. This is not like geometry, This is this is like there's not. It's a science and an art all sort of melded into one. You know what I mean? You have to be careful about the water and how long you put it in there, how deep you put it in there, and the materials that you put on there. You can't make it too hot, but you shouldn't make it cold, because if you do it too cold, then you don't get that first surge of that water, the minerals that are in that cover, So there's a science to it, and then there's an art to it, right? Pressing is every comic is different. Some require higher heat and lower temperature, depending on the condition, depending on the age of the comic. And we already discussed that some are short presses, some are longer presses, some are lower heat, because of the conditions or the differences in the conditions of these particular issues. So I will keep you updated as to what's going on, but I will take pictures so that we have evidence of the work that I did, as Jackson says. And that's it.
Well, again, thank you so much for I know this is fun for you. It's fun for me to take part in this entire process and talk about again all the things that could be improved and the issues of the book. It's just fun, I think.
It is
to really improve books of this caliber.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree. I think it's. I mean, my collection is not high grade, right? So it's at best mid grade. But I now search out lower grade or certain grade comics like Water Damage, or if the staples are off the cover like that, if there are certain kinds of stains or markings on the cover or on the back cover, because I know pretty much within a percentage, 10 or 15%, whether I can get that out or diminish it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get a comic for a couple bucks, and that normally would be $20, $25, So as a cheapskate, that appeals to me quite a bit. So,
that's the best way to do it. I mean, like for me, when I look at that, obviously having a high grade cover book is ideal, but we collect these books for the satisfaction they bring. And I've mentioned, like it doesn't matter what grade that book is in, as long as I see it, it triggers that the chemicals.
I'm just showing these for people who weren't just getting here.
It triggers the happy chemicals in your brain the
endorphins, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter about the grade at the end of the day. It matters that the book is presentable, and when you look at it, it brings that joy.
I agree totally. I agree. I mean, To me, I mean, I really don't mind if a book has character per se, but if I have the ability to
Dopamine.
improve it without dopamine, okay, that's what it is. I'm doing cheapskates for the win. Yay! Hey Matt, how you doing?
What's up, Matt?
If I have the ability to improve it, and like I've been very blessed because like Night Tiger gave me that press. That those presses. I don't know if you've been looking into it, but they're not cheap. $200.
Yeah, they're $200. Yep.
And then I learned from people on YouTube like Collecting Chaos, like Jerry, like Night Tiger, who do soaks and do erasing, and Bub and all this. I've learned from them, and then I've taken my own experience from way back doing things that I've been doing for years and years, and sort of fine tuning it with the materials that I have, and now the downstairs, the tubs and everything that I have, so that I can do this without really much trouble at all. I mean, like I said, I work part-time, so I have some free time in the morning sometimes, most days, not most days, about half the days. And so to me, that, what better thing to do than to grab a comic off my spinner rack here and say, ooh, well, that's kind of lumpy there. Let's give it a little humidity. Let's clean it up. Let's straighten it out. Let's take the spine roll out and press it. And then the next day it comes back almost like a new comic. Well, much better than it was.
That I am also considering getting a press, and these conversations definitely kind of help me to think about all the issues and how to approach them. Like the fact that you mentioned before, the different books, each book is different. Each book requires maybe more temperature, longer time in the press, less time in the press, all those things. It is something you have to kind of learn as you do it, but you're accelerating my learning process here and encouraging me to go out and get the press.
Well, what I did is that even though I saw other people do it, right, my press is an older type of press, right? So the temperature is not exactly like digital. It's sort of a little dial thing, right? So I took a lot of, I have probably like 50 comics that are just,
destroyed.
Yeah, they're they're beyond redemption. Let's put it that way, right? So I took those and I just started experimenting. At first I didn't put enough humidity, so it got brittle-ish, and then sometimes I put too much humidity, so it came out wrinkled, and blah blah blah. So trial and error is the way I've learned mostly, actually. So if you go to your dollar bins or whatever, get a few that are in bad shape so that you can experiment on those. Mm-hmm. That would be my best advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Because every not every single comic, but there are many different issues with comics, and then your equipment is perhaps not the same as somebody else's. So you may see a video about how to do it, but it may not be exact. And that temperature is key, because too little, it doesn't do enough. Too much, it could damage the comic. So
yeah, it's not easy. So
not easy at the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, Otaku, you'll be doing, like, you won't even be thinking about it. You'll be like, really? I know exactly what temperature, I know how long,
Okay.
You'll get it. You'll get it quick. You're a sharp guy, so you'll get it quick. Trust me.
Cool. All right. Well, Roger, I'm gonna allow you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for jumping on with us.
Sure.
And
my pleasure.
Yeah. Again, I'll hear from you when there's something to hear.
Yep. I'll take care of your babies to the best of my ability, and and hopefully everything will come out so that you can send that one to CGC and be proud of it, and the others you can display and present, and it'll just be a much better, improved comic than it was when you sent it to me.
Sounds good. All right. Well,
Okay, my friend.
good
Have a
luck
good
with
night.
that. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right. So just to recap, that was my conversation with Roger. Roger was, as you know, we've been kind of doing this. This is our second set of books. I sent him some books back in the earlier part of the year, around winter, maybe spring, like late winter, early spring, and he was able to really improve the books that I sent him in terms of the presentability. He even removed a tape section and was able to just tape the back area so that that tape didn't show on the cover. He removed the tape. He pressed it. Everything we sent him came back looking amazing. Again, all low grade books. They weren't, he didn't improve them so where we got grade jumps, but in terms of the presentability, man, did it make such a huge difference. And at the end of the day, that's what we want with low grade books. We just want to look at it, be presentable, and not have all the little defects, affect our enjoyment of the book. And that's exactly what we have here with my second Golden Age book. And this is sort of the biggest book in my collection now. Superboy 10, Golden Age, Key. This is the first appearance of Lana Lang. Beautiful Al Pacino cover of Superboy. This book was published in 1950. And man, I ordered some Golden Age Mylar and clear backing boards. I ordered 50 of them, specifically one for this book, but I'm going to kind of migrate some of my older books, the Silver Age books, into those as well. So, this summer, I don't want to say this book is the pinnacle of my summer yet, because we still got a lot of months to go. But in terms of the list, I have the Superman Golden Age book off the list now, and that was sort of like one of the big sort of question marks, variables, and highly sought after things we were trying to get off this list. And it gives me confidence in terms of getting all the other stuff on this list. Should be fine. Most of this is Copper Age, Bronze Age stuff. But this Golden Age was one that I didn't quite have comprehension of what I'd be picking up. I just knew I wanted something from the Golden Age. I wanted to be Superman. I wanted to be a Superman key. And again, where we settled was first appearance of Lana Lang, Superboy 10, have it in the collection now. Love it. And this may be something we send to Roger someday. Who knows? I think Roger could do a lot of things to improve this book. But again, with Golden Age, you have to be very, very careful. And again, I don't know if we would necessarily need anything. It presents really beautifully, other than there's sort of this aged warping on the book. I don't think there's much Roger could do to make it look any better than it already is. The pages are very brittle too, but again, no major creasing, no major tears, just a lot of sort of wear and tear on the book, and structurally intact. They say a 2.5. I wouldn't disagree with that. Looks pretty good. So we may get these. I don't know. What do you think about grading books? I've got a Bronze Age, a Silver Age, and a Golden Age here that I'm considering sending in. They'd all be in one tier. They'd all be in the is it the economic tier? The economic tier. Economic tier is the older books, right? So all these books would be in the economic tier at CGC. So if we submit them at once, we'll get them all back at once. That's the nice thing. Sometimes with CGC, you send in books and they're in one consignment and another consignment, and it gets confusing. What you send in doesn't always come back as is. You get them back in different parcels. But for this book, if we do send it into CGC, I think because of the economic tier, we could send in the other two. And again, all we're getting for on all of these submissions is like a 2.5. But we'll see. Because I mean, it'd be nice to have them in slabs, but at the same time, if we're gonna have them in like top loaders and like clear backing board protective sleeves that are archival, right? They're not going to damage these books. That's another option as well, just to keep them raw. So we'll make a decision. To be honest, like I've already made quite a bit of investment in terms of materials, like the top loaders, again, the Mylar bags. I've purchased over 100 Mylar and clear backing boards now. I've got 50 more coming. So we purchased 100. And it's really changing the display dynamic of my collection. I'm able to, kind of keep the books in these nice top loader sort of slabs. These are quote unquote slabs. I mean, what's nice about this top loader is I can take this book out of here, and then this is that Mylar and clear backing board I'm talking about. So it's protected even in here, but then when we put it in the top loader, it's got pretty much all the protection you'll ever need. As long as you keep this in a nice sort of dry, temperate area, it's gonna protect well. So yeah, I mean, I picked up a lot of books this summer, and I've got to say I've been really, for the most part, very happy with what I picked up. I have been sort of preparing myself to step away from comic book collecting for a little bit at the end of the summer. My family's going to be back in September. I'm just going to kind of switch off that. Right now, my brain is in comic book hunting mode. And when you're in that mode, you're super focused. You kind of, I don't know. I'm probably just like, I've been kind of in this like, it's almost obsessive in terms of like where my focus is. Like I'm getting paid on Friday, right? So I've been kind of just doing this. Okay, what are we going to do with whatever money comes in? What are we going to buy? Well, what are we going to target? And it's just been like that for like 2 months, almost a month and a half straight, 6 weeks since we've started this whole summer project. But it's been fun. Like I've picked up so much stuff. Like, like these two, this book here, huge pickup. Probably the biggest Peach Momoko pickup we've had, along with this book. This is a signed first artwork. This is again the design variant on her first Marvel comic book. All kinds of just like really good, like this book here. I'm gonna show this off because it's just such a beautiful book. This is my signed copy of Infinite Crisis number 3. Just classic Jim Lee cover there, but you got the George Perez signature. Now, what I'm going to, what I plan to do with this book, I'm going to get this signed by Jim Lee. Hopefully he comes to this Emerald City Comic Con, and we're hoping to do a 3-book signing like he did last time. And we don't have to send them into CGZ, but I just want to get his signature right here in silver. And we'll have a double signed Lee Perez book. That's just exciting right there. The other thing I've been meaning to do is to get a low grade Neal Adams signature on the X-Men Wildcats book. That's floating around out there on eBay and whatnot. It's rather cheap. But I was thinking having that book, a signed copy of that book, and having Jim Lee sign that, then we'd have the Lee Adams signature. And the other one we could do is the Marc Silvestri Lee. We want to get Marc Silvestri's signature on the Wolverine. That'll be a Larry Hama, Marc Silvestri, and Jim Lee signature book. So those are sort of long-term projects. It's all contingent upon when Jim Lee gets here, how often he gets here, and obviously when we have 3 books, I've already got 3 books slotted. We're going to do Wolverine 27. We're going to do that George Perez signature book, and we're going to do what's the other book we had to do? Oh yeah, we want to do the first Batman cover as well. Try to get that signed. There's another book though. Doubles. Oh yeah, this book here. We want to get this book signed. So I think right now, getting the Turner Lee signature and the Perez Lee double signature books are probably the 2 priorities on my for the Jim Lee signing. And then that 3rd book will probably be Wolverine 27, maybe Batman Black and White, his first Batman cover, or we could go first Wonder Woman cover, which we don't have yet. His first Wonder Woman artwork in a book. That would be cool. But yeah, when we get these books signed, I don't know about this Superman book, but for the Infinite Crisis, I'm going to have him sign it like Jim Lee, president of DC. I think that just adds an extra layer of coolness on the DC books. Because it's not just Jim Lee, it's Jim Lee, president of DC Comics, right? That just like, if he would sign that, you'd have a 101 for sure, at least until it catches on. Maybe I shouldn't have shared it. I share all my good ideas, and you guys, I see you guys stealing it. I see the Jim Lee signing where we're asking him to draw the bats now, right? At the recent Torpedo Con where Jim Lee drew the bat, I saw the guy asking for the bat. Come on, I know you're copying. You're copying the original OTG. That's fine. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's always a good time. Yeah, we'll go see Secret Invasion. Take care. Hey, K-pop. Good to see ya. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So until next time, Otaku out.